Hey everybody, welcome to the Sunburnt Podcast. This is my co-host, the most stunning stand-up comedian in the world, Chip Chantry.
And this is the least informed man in the Western Hemisphere, Mr. Thomas O'Brien.
That is unfortunately true. I am very uninformed. I don't keep up with the news, but that's why I'm so happy, Chip.
Yes, we are literally living on an island of our own, and it feels good. And that's why we're bringing you with us.
That's actually kind of the whole point of this thing is, there's a lot of distractions out there, and what people really should be focusing on for mental health, for life enjoyment, is getting their buns to the tropics and having a good time and spending as much time mentally as they can, Chip.
I want to mentally go to a place right now.
Oh, absolutely.
Boom.
The smell memory, the scent memory, we're putting on our Hawaiian tropic. We invite all of you to do the same thing. Take a little trip with us.
Sheer touch SPF 50, baby.
We're doing this every time we start the pod, and I think it's helping, Chip.
I love the smell.
Oh,
and it is that cliche line from Apocalypse Now, but I love the smell of sunblock in the morning. It gets me to the beach.
Oh yeah.
No matter where I am. So I just throw a little bit of a suntan. If it's February in Des Moines, I don't care where you are, when it is, throw in a little sunblock. You're gonna feel that juice, baby.
Yeah, it really pumps me up. It's something I've done for years. I've thrown on the sunblock, rain or shine, every morning. And it's a very silly thing for a grown-up to do, but it tricks my brain into thinking I'm doing something exciting. I have a fun day to look forward to, and everything's great.
Yeah, and your skin looks luminous.
Ooh, yeah. And it keeps away those burnies.
It really does, man. Those weekend at Bernie's. Yeah, you ready to get some sun, Tommy?
I'm ready to get some sun. I'm ready to get some sun this November because this podcast is all leading up to a comedy event we are throwing in Honolulu, Hawaii. Right now, it's titled Chip Chantry's Thanksgiving in Paradise, November 26th at the Blue Note Jazz Club in Waikiki. And you're all coming with us. We're inviting as many people that want to come with us from the mainland or wherever you have to be to Waikiki this Thanksgiving to do a couple events, to celebrate comedy, to celebrate a year of working hard and preparing for this trip. And I'm pumped up about it, Chip. This is the number one thing we wanted to do this year. We're doing it. The tickets are for sale. This is for real. Our tickets are booked.
Yeah.
You're coming with us.
Yeah, you're coming with us. I've never been this motivated in my life, and it's hard for me to get motivated. But I'm like, all right, I have this on the horizon. November, I'm going to get in shape. I'm working hard. I'm putting this hour together. And that's what we want you to do. Pick something that you really want to work on for the next 7 months and then celebrate with us in Waikiki for the week, Thanksgiving. Come see a comedy show. Why not? Come see me. But come for the sun and fun, and make sure you put on that sunblock.
And if you love comedy and love the idea of tropical vacations, stay tuned. Front desk.
Me llamo es Pablo el baño. I don't know the words.
You can just speak English, sir.
El baño es decompuesto.
Mr. Chantry, you can speak English.
Just send up the plunger.
Chip, we are back, episode number 9, and it feels like this thing's taken over just the world, man. We talked earlier, we had a surprising French contingent of listeners.
Yes.
Welcome. This is not a joke. On the audio version, this week, 4x'd the amount of French downloads.
I love it. Welcome to our French compadres.
I'm so thrilled that this is resonating with so many people. And it's just kind of fun to be a part of, Chip.
Yeah, it's there. I think it's growing. People are like, we just need to get on an island together, whether it's physically or mentally. And we welcome you along, man. Come in, have fun, get ready to laugh, get ready to get some sun. And both of those things can give you wrinkles. So just make sure you're putting on that lotion.
Yeah, put on the lotion. But at the end of your life, if a couple of crow's feet are what you have to show for years in the sand, years in the sun, years laughing till you cry, I think that's a life well worth living.
100%. Yeah. How was your week, buddy?
Unbelievable. I mean, we've talked about this earlier. Of course it is, tax season.
Yeah.
Which does have its own fair share of trials and tribulations for those among us who like to procrastinate a little bit.
It is. And I was usually, and it's my wife. She is so much more organized and professional than I am. We're usually done our taxes like February. Like we go into the accountant that she uses. We have all our documents and we're just done. This year, we dragged our feet and we were definitely stressing. But like the stress, even that was, I still was putting myself in that Hawaii mode.
Yeah.
I think I might have talked about this before, but one of my favorite books was Dale Carnegie's How to Stop Worrying and Start Living. And one of the best pieces of advice was he was like, this problem you're having right now in 3 months isn't even going to be on your radar. Right? Like, so it's like you're really stressing about just this one issue. I got to go out to the dinner with these people that I hate, or this work problem, or taxes. And it's like 3 months from now, it's just going to be, you're going to forget it. And so if you can mentally put yourself there, and that's what I did. But instead of 3 months, it's like 7 months or so. I just put myself in Hawaii and I was like, all right, we're going to Hawaii. We'll get through this. And it made taxes a little bit better.
And you also kind of put off your taxes this year a little bit because you hate your accountant, right?
Yes, he is. Actually, I have to say, that is a joke. I love my accountant so much. He's the best guy. He's like, I don't want to say his name. I should probably give him a plug, but I'm not going to. But my wife used him for years, and he is just this man in this little office, and he's got some helpers. He's like Santa Claus, if you think. I think I just described Santa Claus.
Well, he's definitely probably good at making lists. I'd have to imagine.
He checks them twice.
Woo! Does he?
And we get a gift once a year from him, and it is he is just it's so much fun. It's one of the few places where I don't tell people that I'm a comedian a lot. Like I don't. It's not something you lead with. I'll tell you this. When I started comedy years ago, I would lead with that. Like I would kind of let people know, oh yeah, well I do comedy. Like I'm a comedian.
Oh
like,
yeah, that's how you know you got the stink on you, dude.
Oh, it was I could hear it coming out of my mouth, and I was like, oh, this is awful. So now I do everything in my power to not let people know. Like my neighbors, I've lived here for 2 years now. The people literally in adjacent houses, like we share walls. I don't think they know what I do, and I'm happy with that. But my accountant, he knows that I'm a comedian because it literally says it on legal documentation that because you have to post your job title. So he knows. So then he gets a kick out of it, and then he like tells the other guys in the office. So like I come in, and it's like one of the few times where I feel like, oh, Mr. Chantry has entered the building, and it's like, wow, this is fun. And he always tells me jokes, and it's I love going to my accountant so much.
I love the idea of like accounting and comedy worlds apart. But
that's our next podcast.
Bridging the gap.
Yep.
But I do love the idea of a comedian walking into an accounting office where everybody's trying a little too hard. Maybe they lean into the roast portion of comedy a little too much and just blast you about your livelihood and your earnings.
Oh, I mean, if they just share my W-9, and that my 1099s, that would be fodder for a long time. Because, by the way, I keep mentioning my accountant. It's like my accountant as if I have money.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of like saying my golf instructor. I don't play golf. Do you know what I mean? Like, so
Yeah.
I don't necessarily need it, but it is nice to have. But if they were just like, by the way, I would assume that once I leave the office, him and his helpers are just going through my files and being like, this is what he made this year. My God, like this is, I'm sure the roast continues after I leave.
This is a $47 check from a gastrointestinal medical conference. I wonder what he did there.
Yes. Yeah.
Probably not comedy. Maybe more of a demonstration.
I do some modeling.
Yeah, I do some light medical modeling.
Light medical modeling might be a great, like, that would be good on a business card.
Yeah.
I
think.
But by the way, you do comedy. Like I'm a stand-up comedian.
Yep.
You did comedy for years. You did improv, and obviously we wrote on television for years. There is one of my favorite / least favorite things in the world is when somebody finds out that you are a comedian, you're in the world, and you're like, oh, you're funny, and then they give you their brand of comedy. Like, it's like, oh, we'll go back and forth, but they people don't know. Like with comedians, it's generally no holds barred. Like we will say horrible things, whatever, for comedic effect in our own little TV writers room, like we had, or just in a phone conversation, whatever. And then these people will be like, "What do you think about this?" And then just say the most offensive thing in the world, or and it just, I'm like, and you try to. You don't want to totally ice them, but at the same time, you're like, yeah, that's not how comedy works at all. You were just saying something awful right now, and they just go, or they'll just say something mean to you, like, "Oh, you're ugly," and you're like, "Oh, that really actually hurt my feelings."
Yeah, no,
there's no humor involved.
There's no humor involved. People don't understand it, and I think it's I have to imagine it's gotten more intense with the rise of Kill Tony.
Well, yeah, because anybody can get a ticket, go on, and say something crazy and horrible and awful or whatever, and then people are like, boom.
It's horrifying, Chip. Can you imagine if you got your big break to do 1 minute when you were like 3 months in?
No, that's awful. Like I did when I was younger in my career, we had opportunities and at the comedy club that I work at a lot, and we still me and some of the other comics, like we still lament that, because like, oh, we were only 4 years into comedy. Like if they came now and had that opportunity, we'd be like, oh, we'd be ready. But I mean, sometimes this is like, oh, I've been doing comedy in Boise, Idaho for 3 months. I've done 4 open mics, and now here's my chance in front of the world.
Yeah, no, it's tough. I for one needed to have some sense knocked into me early on. I remember one of the first like writers' rooms I was invited into. I wasn't a writer yet. I was like kind of an assistant that sat outside, but I brought in to pitch some jokes because I was always pitching jokes.
Is that the one where they made you wear the French maid costume and you would just sweep up? Yeah. Seems hurtful, but go ahead.
There were some other perks to the job too. I remember there was a lot of country time lemonade in the kitchen. You could make it from powder, and I got to dress up like a pretty little maid.
Yeah, I mean, two bennies right there.
2 big bennies. But I remember just like the head writer, just I pitched a couple of things in the Blue Arena, and just literally put his hand on my chest and said, "You need to stop being a jackass." And it hurt my feelings so much at the time, but it needed to happen. And then later on, when I started doing improv, I went up through the class structure at the UCB, was kind of my entryway into that point. And I remember it was like second class. The first, like, they just get you brave enough to get up there in front of your peers who are also trying this thing. And I went blue. And my teacher from the back of the class just screamed, "Boo."
I mean, it's honesty. Yeah.
But it's just like, this is somebody who's taught 175 101 classes and just knows that this instinct needs to be knocked out of this guy right now, because or else he's going to have to learn it over a long period of time of just not getting the responses he wants.
Yeah. That and I teach stand-up class at the club in Philly, and I think I'm very nurturing. Like I was a 4th grade teacher for a while, so like I feel like I'm nurturing, and I want to give people confidence, but I don't want to give them false confidence.
Yeah.
And so my goal over the past few years has been to be a little bit more critical with that. But there's sometimes where it's just like honesty is the best policy. And like I took a stand-up class when I first started, and I say the same thing that my instructor had said, which is like, look, I can teach you in 6 weeks what it would probably take you 6 months to a year to learn just by going out and doing open mics and making mistakes. So it's like, let's make these mistakes here. We'll be quick. We'll be swift. Let's rip off the Band-Aid. And then I'm doing them a disservice if I'm letting them do something ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's just going to get them mocked or loathed in a comedy setting. So it's like, yeah, all right, we're not going to do that. But brutal honesty, I think if it comes from a place of love, I agree with it. Like, I think if it comes from a place of love and be like, look, that was terrible. You should never say that again or do that. It's like, you're like, okay. And it's like, I'm not mad at you. I'm not angry. We're still friends, but just don't do that. It's like, yeah, you are doing, it's like a big brother situation. It's like, okay, you just saved me from making an ass out of myself.
Yeah, no, it's super nice, but you have to trust the person who's saying it because there is some like part of why you get into it is because you think you are just naturally, intrinsically gifted, more funny, have a better perspective. You've done pretty well in groups all your life, just socially. And to have somebody the caliber of Chip Chantry helping you through those early months, that first year, I can't even imagine.
I don't want to do like bits on here, but I tell the story on stage sometimes, but it's the honest to God truth.
Yeah.
I was walking down the street in Philadelphia. It was that street that you loved when we walked through to get brunch together that one day, Tommy, because you and I brunch sometimes together.
Yeah. The Philly brunch, that was a different, I believe I had a breakfast sausage burger with a,
Yes.
It was a huge, meaningful sandwich.
It was a tower of cholesterol medicine. Like it was.
Yeah. It's a statin.
gigantic.
It's a statin whistle. You eat one of those things, the statins are coming. Was that East Passyunk?
Pretty close, yeah. East Passyunk, yeah. And I was walking down that street. It's like beautiful, cool, little hip little street. And there's this very hipster barbershop, where it's like everybody looks like they're going to ride a motorcycle, but they never have, like one of those things, like very trim beard, whatever. It's great. That's fine. Good for them. That's wonderful. But there was just this one barber, this guy with a very like slick, long beard that definitely had like beard oil in it, the whole thing. Great. Good for him. But he's the barber in the first chair, like right inside the window. And he's got the biggest hat on I've ever seen in my life. Like kind of like a Indiana Jones fedora kind of situation. Like indoors in the summertime, but it's just a giant brimmed, like this hat is so big, it's as if he owned Curious George. Like, I mean,
the man in the hat.
Exactly. And I had my headphones in. I'm listening to music, and I just walk past the window, and I look in, and he's cutting hair, and he's right inside the window, and I just said to myself, because I just say things out loud when I'm by myself, especially because I got headphones in too, so I'm sure I said a little bit louder than normal because I'm listening to music. And I wasn't trying to be funny. I wasn't trying to be mean. It was just an observation. I kind of almost gasped, and I was like, and I just looked at him. I was like, get a load of this dickhead. And that's all I said. And then I just kept walking. And as I turned to keep walking, I realized there was no glass in the window. The window was fully open. I was less than 3 feet away from this guy, this stranger, who's literally just doing his job. And I just stopped, looked at him, very matter-of-factly. Like, I know that he did not read me as trying to mock him or being mean to him. I think he saw my affect, and I just said, wow, get a load of this, kid. And then I just walked away.
Oh, unbelievable.
And I felt awful. I felt terrible. But at the same time, I think I did him a favor.
Yeah.
Like, I would love that guy to show up every time I walked out of the house.
Uh-huh.
Like, I just walk out of the house in the morning, I'm feeling good about myself, and just some dude just comes, stops at the end of my sidewalk, and is just like, look at those ridiculous pants that guy has on. And just keeps walking. Mm-hmm. And, like, again, he's not saying, you're ugly, you have a terrible scent. Like, he's making fun of me, and he's not even announcing it to the world. He's like, hey, everybody, check out this guy's stupid pants. Yeah. But he's just like, wow, those are the most ridiculous pants I've ever seen. And then he just keeps walking. I'd be like, oh, thank you, great. I'm going to turn, I'm going to go back into the house. I'm going to set these pants on fire, and I'm going to put on a sensible pair of slacks.
It's the equivalent of having a junior high school bus ride every morning. Like, that's a real nice conditioner. You're going to hear what you should be doing, what you shouldn't be doing. It really keeps everybody in line just to have some voices chirping at you.
Yeah, it's one of those, like, 70s, I don't know if Est was the thing, or it was one of those, like, kind of cults or whatever where, like, people would just scream at each other.
Yeah.
And they're just like, and it's like an intervention, but just it gets almost violent, and they're just like, you suck, you're the worst, blah, blah, blah. Like, that was for people who never had to ride the bus to middle school. They all walked or were dropped off by their parents. So then they had to go to a conference room in a Holiday Inn for a weekend and have people tell them how, awful they are because they didn't have that experience.
I also, just to circle back a little bit, think there's something so funny. There's something funny in the idea of a barber who's wearing a hat that's so big that it impedes his work. Like, it's getting in the way a little bit. He's getting ruffled. He's making mistakes. Somehow in the sketch, the hat keeps getting bigger. As Burt Reynolds once said via Ronald McDonald, it's a big hat. It's funny.
It's a big hat. It's funny. Yeah. By the way, if anybody saw any movement, that's my buddy Franklin, our producer, and my dog Franklin is jumping around. I think he wants to. You can't sit on my lap today, buddy. I'm sorry. We're doing a podcast. Shake it off, buddy. Thank you. He's a good boy. So by the way, speaking of the middle school bus situation, because I was thinking about that, about those retreats. Oh, now okay. Sorry. Franklin's in my. Okay, can Franklin come up for a second, Thomas?
Yeah.
Is that okay? Let's bring him up just for a minute. Here's Franklin. He wants to say hi to the good people.
Hey, Franklin.
The Sunburnt Podcast. He's maybe he'll sit on my lap for a little bit. He just wants to be a part of it. He's we were out at the we're at the accountant's office last night for a little while. We were out, had some dinner afterwards, and we just neglected our guy. I mean, I'm just home with him all the time, and he gets a little lonely sometimes. So this is Franklin. This is my boy right here, and but okay. So speaking of that middle school bus therapy situation,
Yeah.
last week, if you watched or listened to the Ocho, that episode, we had talked about that eco retreat. That couple from Denmark, I think were they from Denmark originally, and then they went to Sweden, and now they're hiding in Guatemala somewhere. They left. They apparently ran this eco-friendly retreat with these wooden cabins, and you go out into the woods and find your own nature. And they left behind, as you do, 185 barrels of human waste.
Chip, have you heard the update on this story?
No.
Yeah, so I just read it yesterday.
Breaking news, ladies and gentlemen. Breaking news.
Just read it yesterday. I wasn't sure if you were bringing it up because you heard. They have clapped back, Chip.
Have they really?
They've clapped back, and they said they're defending the barrels. They said in rural Sweden, this is how you deal with feces. You deal with human remains. And they said that these barrels had been properly treated to turn it into compost. And they're like, half of the barrels are going to be ready to be used as compost to, grow vegetables and other things later this year. And then the other half of the barrels a year from now will be compost. So that's what they put out into the universe, which, I applaud them for standing up, speaking on their own behalf.
Okay.
And then the Swedish authorities clapped back at them saying, that's the most insane thing we've ever heard. There are methods of doing that, and we encourage everybody that can to compost whenever they can, but you have to do it in conjunction with us, and you have to do it the way we clearly laid out. And you guys didn't say anything. You just had people take dumps in barrels and pseudo bury them in the ground. So it is kind of like a fun back and forth. He said, she said.
He said, Swede said, really.
He said, Swede said. There was a Swedish chef in there, Borgen, the whole thing. But no, I think it is interesting. I've never heard this kind of international fecal story break in my lifetime.
No, and I hope it becomes a worldwide phenomenon. I hope this goes to I would hope this Swedish Supreme Court, if they have that, and it just gets tried. And by the way, how did it get in barrels in the first place? That's what I want to know. Like, you would assume it would be some sort of septic tank or something like that, but they were separate. What is it, like 20-gallon, whatever those, like a trash barrel kind of situation. 50-gallon barrels, I guess. It's just that. So it just makes me a little squeamish.
As it should. I don't know how those things get put together, but I do think it's part of the ruse of the eco-friendly retreat, where you're just trying to get a bunch of people to come out to your sheds that you built yourself and stay in them for a premium price. There's no running water out there. I think they're kind of just relieving themselves in some version of a static bag that hopefully has some kind of smell protection. That all gets dumped into some barrels and put in a crack in the earth.
Yeah. I mean, there it is. And it's so, yeah, I just love the Swedish government just has no time for them. And,
they're not backing down, and they're telling their side of it. That's for sure.
Yeah. All right, so we have this eco retreat, and we've all heard of that. We all have that one friend who goes to that yoga retreat where they go out to the desert and scream and cry for 3 days, and then come back. And the only real difference is that they sort of have like a British accent for a few weeks, and like just tell you how much better they are than you. You know, like that type of thing. So, and there are people, and God bless them, there are people who are capitalizing on those friends of ours who are insufferable like that. So I did a deep dive, Thomas.
Oh, I love it when you dive deep, Chip.
By Googling. Way deeper than they buried those 185 barrels, I will say that, into the earth. And I went into the depths of the internet with my barrels. And I just found a couple of sort of like the strangest retreats that people have around the world that you can go to for a vacation, a spa situation, or a wellness kind of retreat situation. So let's go. I just have 5 here that I'm sure you've heard of some of these, but just let's take them at face value. Okay.
Chip, I love this. Let's get into it, buddy.
All right. Number 1, darkness retreats is a thing.
Okay.
Hey, like, what are you going to do with your 3-day weekend? I'm going to my darkness retreat.
Ooh, that's a tough sell for me, Chip.
Okay. Now, it's in Germany. Of course, it's in Germany.
Of course it is. The home of darkness.
The home of darkness, Germany. Okay. The people, the goers of the retreat, they spend several days in total darkness with no exposure to light or sound. So they're just in the dark. And apparently they break mental barriers. They uncover hidden aspects of their subconscious after 3 days of being in complete darkness, total sensory deprivation. That's just kidnapping, Thomas. That's all that is.
Yeah, that's an abusive kidnapper.
It really is. It's just like, go in that room. You can't talk to your parents. You cannot call your loved ones. We will tell you when you eat, when you sleep. By the way, of course you're going to break mental barriers. They're probably not the barriers that you want to break, though.
Yeah.
Like you've heard about people like prisoners who have had to go in the hole. Like that's what the hole is.
Yeah. Run by noted psychologist Buffalo Bill. This retreat has everything.
Andy Dufresne didn't necessarily come back enlightened after spending 2 months in the hole. Do you know what I mean? I mean, he Shawshanked his way out of there. Like so it's, I mean, maybe you would come out. You're like, oh, how was your weekend? Oh, I spent it. I just went down to Atlantic City for a couple of days. Had some fun with the friends, with the boys. Went out to Vegas for the weekend. What did you do? I was in a dark room with no sound or light. And then they just stare off into the distance in the break room, and you're like, I don't think I'm inviting Gary to my Christmas party this year.
This is something I would never choose over Chip Chantry's Thanksgiving in Hawaii.
Do you want to go to Hawaii in a beautiful setting and then one of those nights go see a fun comedy show? No, I'd rather sit in a dark closet and not speak or interact with anyone for a long weekend.
The answer is clear to me, Chip, but I hope people at this darkness retreat are finding whatever they need from it, but not for me.
Okay, do you think that, like, I want to know where they specifically are. Are they, like, locked in a little room? Or is it like a big sort of warehouse area, recreational area, where they can kind of walk around with other people that happen to be there? They're just going about their thing. They could, because I would love to get some exercise. So, like, what if it's like a big, like, okay, picture like an indoor, like a gymnasium, maybe even with some like fake grass or whatever, where I could like jog.
Yeah,
I could get my steps in, but it's just complete utter darkness rather than just being confined in a tiny little area. I think that could be kind of fun. And just every once in a while, you would like bump into somebody or trip over somebody who's sleeping, either sleeping or having a complete mental breakdown.
This is not for me, Chip. This is not for me. Even in that situation, what I'm picturing is like I did have like growing up sleepovers in a gymnasium. You know,
Okay.
You're going on a school trip or sometimes a basketball trip. You end up with some old sleeping bags on the gym floor, and it is fun to screw around with your friends when you're not supposed to be late at night. Yep. That's fun stuff. But there's always at least an exit sign, Chip. There's a little something. I think with my mind's ability to go to deep, dark places and the fact that I fixate on spooky, weird things when I don't have the right inputs, I would go absolutely insane and assume crazy stuff was happening. Oh, anytime after the 15-minute mark. You get in there, it's dark, and I'm just like, all of a sudden, I'm like, who did I check in with? Who runs this thing? How do I know this isn't, I'm not on like some hidden camera, like prank show. How do I know I'm not on some hidden camera personal torture show? Safety becomes the issue. And I am a little bit afraid of the dark, apparently, now that I think about it.
I think that's what you and I have the thing, too. This is not several days. This is, like you said, 15 minutes. And we are out. Yeah.
Yeah. Just.
But, I do like to think that it is a big enclosed area with a bunch of people. Like it's laser tag without the lasers.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's good.
Like we're just in a laser tag facility, but we take the guns away, we turn all the lights off, and that's what it is. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the game tag and the lasers are my two favorite parts of laser tag. I will say that.
Yeah, it's not the darkness. No. All right. So that one's not for us. Darkness therapy, not for us. We like to be out in the sunshine. We literally have sunblock on right now.
We're sunshine boys.
We are sunshine boys. The second one, vino therapy.
Vino therapy.
All right. I don't have to translate that. Okay. This is just like a wine retreat. And it just talks about all of the wonderful effects of wine and the grapes that it has on the human psyche, on the human body, on our vessels, the antioxidants, I think it's like polyphenols they use, like there's always that new word, right? Okay. So it's just wine therapy. Like one of the things that you can do, like they talk about is like you take these like baths is like warm water infused with red wine, where you're basically just taking a red wine bath.
Yeah.
This is just a bunch of ant barbs with an excuse to get banged up for a weekend.
It's an insane rebranding is what it is. It's taking something that's clearly a negative and just putting therapy in front of it. It's like, you know what? I was an angry, abusive father, but what I was really doing was exposing my children to anger therapy.
That's all it was. Yes, and it's just that rebranding. And it's just like, me and my girlfriend Annabelle, we went to vino therapy and we soaked in the antioxidants and we became better people. Our skins are exfoliated and radiant and our minds are clear. And then it's just like Uncle Mike just went to whiskey camp this summer. Like
bourbon therapy.
I'm just sitting by a fire drinking Jack Daniels, and in my defense, I do spill it on myself a lot. And so down the front of me is very radiant.
It's a tremendous business model, though.
Yeah.
Take a product people are already addicted to, put a healthy spin on it, and charge them a buttload to spend a weekend doing it.
Yep.
I'd have to imagine it is like probably just at a winery somewhere, right? It's like and I think a winery is delightful.
Sure.
Me and my wife go to wine country out here in California.
My wife and I do as well, yeah.
And that's nice. But to slap on a therapy moniker, I'm imagining really jack up that price and try and pretend like it's beneficial for me. It's like, no, this is a booze business. You're getting people sloppy in the woods. And that's it. Like if they called it sloppy in the woods, I'm there.
I'm down for it. Yeah. It just be honest. Be honest with us.
Yeah.
Hey, do you guys want to go to Sloppy in the Woods? Yeah, I want to go to Sloppy in the Woods.
Yeah. Get sloppy, baby. Poppy's getting a little sloppy.
Poppy's getting sloppy. By the way, here's how classy I am.
Okay.
My wife and I, we go to wineries, here in Pennsylvania, and there's some beautiful places. We did about a decade ago when we were in San Francisco, we did spend a night up in Sonoma.
Yeah.
And it was beautiful, classy, gorgeous, beautiful sunny day. Everything was great. But the highlight for me, this is how classy I am, was we happened upon this one wine shop, because it's basically just, you've been to Sonoma, right? It's just like a big square, and there's just shops and restaurants around the big square. And we stopped in this one wine shop, and literally because it had a cartoon duck as its label, right?
Yeah, that'll do it.
Almost like Groucho, you bet your life kind of situation. And so I was like, we got to go on this one. And it was this guy who was probably about 60. And he's like, oh, me and my partner have this place. We were college roommates. We went off and did our own thing, had our own careers, had our own families. We both retired. And we're like, hey, let's get together and create our own wine. Go into business together. And it was just like kind of what you and I are doing to a certain extent, Thomas, right? And he was just like, he's just my buddy, blah, blah, blah. And, now we have this wine business. Unfortunately, the buddy wasn't there that day. And I was like, oh, you went into different businesses, I guess, that weren't, for your careers that weren't necessarily wine. He's like, no, I think he was a lawyer. He's like, I'm a lawyer. And then I was like, what did your buddy do? And I'm thinking architect, surgeon, accountant. And he goes, oh, I'll show you. And then pulls out this photo album. And it's like, this is him. His partner, who unfortunately wasn't there that day, was Ronald McDonald. His partner was Ronald McDonald. Like, okay, the clown Ronald McDonald from the fast food chain. He was the official Ronald McDonald from like 1979 to like 1995. So whenever you saw Ronald McDonald, so that's my childhood right there.
Yeah.
Whenever you saw Ronald McDonald on television, in a commercial, making an appearance or whatever, it wasn't a knockoff Ronnie. He was the Ronald McDonald.
The real Ronald.
Yeah.
The real Ronald McDonald. And that also explains why the red section of this wine shop was called Grimace Piss.
It really was. Yes. Just you want some GP? Yeah, we got some Grimace Piss.
Would you like some white or Grimace Piss?
Yeah. How about a Hamburglar Burgundy? You want a Hamburglar Burgundy? Right here. We got a Happy Meal for you. Yeah.
Yeah. Or would the whites be natural skin tone in Ronald McDonald world?
I believe with just a giant red stain around the lips.
Oh, because he's been drinking that Grimace.
The Grimace Piss.
Yeah. I love a fast food world of characters.
The little fry guys, that one little weird bird girl. The bird girl she kind of freaked me out. But other than that, they were Mayor McCheese.
McCheese.
It was a land of law and order.
Yeah. And I like that it's a democracy.
Yes.
I like that there's elected officials. I think it's important. I think it was important to get the word out to America that this is what we stand for. We're going to get massively obese.
We are a democracy. We are not a kingdom like Burger King over here.
Yeah. I do wonder if in those corporations there was people thinking about it on that level. It's like they are saying they're a kingdom. You know what Americans have rebelled against? Kings.
Yes.
We disgraced the crown. We got rid of it. We got out from under their thumbs. We are democratic. We need to put the idea out there that we are a democracy. What can we do? And not the first idea, not the second idea, probably not even the 50th idea, but eventually they got to Mayor McCheese. Yep. We are going to have an elected official be part of this group. He will protect and serve the weird bird girls, the grimaces.
The grimaces, yep. The fry guys, the little dip-in nuggets. Yeah.
When was the last time you had one of those McDonald's orange drinks?
It's so fun. I was just thinking about those the other day. It's been decades.
Decades.
But they were delicious.
Yeah, I mean, it was crack, baby. I was into it.
I was 100% sold on. Do they still make is the orange drink still on the menu?
I have no clue. I have no clue. I have not spent a lot of time at McDonald's recently, but one time, my wife never been to McDonald's. I've never seen it happen in our
Wow.
whole like 8-year relationship at this point. When she got pregnant, one night at like 9:30, she's like, "This is insane. I need you to go to McDonald's right now and get one of those sandwiches from the commercial." And it was the first time I'd been to McDonald's in, I don't know, maybe a decade. And I showed up there. I went through the drive-thru. There was one not too far away from where we were living at the time. And I couldn't believe the automation, Chip. The drinks, I think there was a drink robot where somebody clicked a button and a cup went in there and made the drink, and it kind of went on a little conveyor belt thing right to the window. We're living in the future, buddy. But that being said, I did not look if orange drink was still an option.
Sounds like a Bromosa.
Ooh,
basically.
color-wise, can you imagine? That might even be a better combination. A little
The
orange drink, a little champagne,
Yeah.
a little Prosecco with your orange. I mean, that's mixing adulthood and childhood right there in one beverage.
That's all we need. It's just Capri Sun and vodka. That's all we need.
That actually.
By the way, speaking of getting back to our childhoods.
Let's do it.
Okay. This one I don't think we have to spend a lot of time on. Down in Mexico, they have these rebirthing retreats. This is the one that kind of annoys me. It's like there's literally like deep spiritual work, soul retrieval practices. I don't even know what that means. Soul retrieval practices.
Yeah.
That's just, list your ex-girlfriends in order of which ones made you the saddest. I have no idea I have no idea what a soul retrieval practice is. And then they would just have a shaman.
Yeah.
That would basically rebirth you, and you would be born again as a person, as a 37-year-old who said, I was just an awful human being for 3.5 decades. Let me start all over again. And then they just it's like their new birthday, probably. They have an extra day where they throw a party, and they're just as unbearable, but now they are technically a toddler.
Yeah. That, in theory, that sounds rough. I can see how people would get there, but what pops to my mind is like, I think sometimes the people that run retreats like this might not be the most up and up. They might be looking to take advantage of a couple of people, sell them a bill of goods, really create this environment. It's like adjacent to a cult, short-term style. I do think there are some people who are earnestly and very good mindset that want to help people out. But absolutely. I can imagine you and me, we're strapped for cash. We throw a rebirth retreat in Mexico, and the shaman doesn't show up.
Right.
And we replace him with a Sean man, and we are very close. And that it's just a bro, and he's like, "I'm Sean, man.
I'm Sean, man.
You guys ready to be rebirth?" It's like, and we have to be very clear. I thought there was going to be a Sean man. I was like, if you look at the fine print, it said Sean man.
It's a Sean man, and he gives you a birth certificate with the nickname that he has just dubbed you with.
I'm actually going to this retreat now. I like Sean man. I like getting a stoned out surfer name for everybody. Yep. I think that's how I want to be reborn.
Yeah, as just a slightly high surfer bro named Sean, and then the Sean man just gives you, he's like, "What's up? Here's the doozer," and it's like, I'm the doozer now.
You're the doozer. I think I'm Sky. I want to be Sky. I think just Sky. I would hope Sean would name me Sky.
Yeah,
and this is Sky, dude.
Yeah, it's like, I'm just like, I'm Dirt Man. Like, what's up, Dirt Man? You're just like, that's my new. I've been rebirthed by Sean, and he definitely spells Sean SHAWN.
Oh yeah. It's funny. There was a dude around the LA comedy scene, and his name was Wave.
Oh.
His name was Wave, and he had an attitude that matched, and I was just like, years and years and years. His name's Wave. I forget his last name, but normal last name, Wave, whatever. Was on all the shows, was on all the list, the lineups he was in. And it was, knew the dude for years, and I was like, it is so, strange but fitting that you got the name Wave. Like, have you ever talked to your parents about that? And he was like, my name's Dave, dude. I just call myself Wave. And I was like, oh, okay.
That's you were bought in, Thomas. That's the power of a dumb name. You were transfixed.
Yeah, I mean, maybe he had his own Sean.
I think he might have.
It was renamed, but Wave. That's a cool name.
Wave? Yeah.
It's a cool name. I can see Sean going Wave. All right. Well, like the rebirth, not for us.
I think we came around to it though.
Yeah.
With the Sean man. So I think it's just our little turn on it. I'm much more into the rebirthing now than I thought I was. All right. Two more real quick. This next one is my favorite.
Yep.
By far.
Uh-huh.
Okay. It's over in Thailand.
Good start.
Okay. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing this right. I believe it's Chiang Mai. Okay. It is prison massages. That's all I got to say.
All right.
Two words you were not expecting me to put together.
You got to say a little more, Chip. Prison massages?
Going back to McDonald's, it's the McDLT. I got the hot side hot and the cold side cold, and I'm bringing them together. and it's Mac tonight, baby. Prison massages.
Prison massages and back to childhood should never be in the same thought, Chip.
They shouldn't be in the same podcast episode.
Ooh.
But we have done it for you. We've done it for you. Okay, so over in Thailand, it's the Chiang Mai's Women's Correctional Facility. So it's a women's prison, okay?
Mm-hmm. For the
women's
ladies.
Correctional Facility.
Ladies' night of prisons.
It's ladies' night. I wonder if they play that. Like they would play that every night as it's like lockdown. I would.
I think ladies' prison is a lot more fun in your mind than potentially it is in real life.
I think so. There's very few. The only vino therapy they're doing is in the back of their toilets.
Yeah, so, Bruno therapy.
Bruno therapy. That's what it is. Okay. So basically, it actually is nicer than we're making fun, but I think it's a nice thing. They train these Thai women who have gone through a rough patch, are in prison for one reason or another. They train them to be professional masseuses, basically. Yeah. Okay. And then it's sort of their internship. You can go there and get a massage from them. And when you pay them, it goes to they have basically like an account that when they get released from prison, that they get that money basically to start anew.
A little walking around money.
A little walking around money, and they can get jobs as masseuses because they are trained massage. So you can go to this prison or like centers or whatever and get a massage by a female inmate in Thailand.
I like that a lot. That sounds like a nice program. You take people who have gotten in trouble for massaging society's rules and regulations.
By rubbing people the wrong way.
Yes. And you teach them to rub them the right way.
Yes, absolutely. They are genies in a bottle.
I think that's nice. Then they have a little money to start off with, and they have a new skill. I'm on board. I don't understand how this is a retreat, though.
Right. I think it's more of like a spa situation. You would
okay, so you show up and you just get pampered by these criminals.
Prison pampering, they called it. Yes.
Prison pampering. Okay. Yeah.
I like it. Right.
That's like going to a barber college, I think. Right.
Yes.
I think the similar amount of time served at a barber college compared to a Thai massage prison class.
Yes.
And I imagine the discounts are steep, Chip. Or are people paying a premium for the convicted fingers?
100%. Yeah, convicted. By the way, Convicted Fingers, great band name.
Pretty good.
Pretty great. Put that on the list. Here's my spin on it. This is what I would do.
Put a little spin on that ball, Chip.
This is for your least favorite friends. Mm-hmm. You get them. This is the American version. You get them a massage weekend. You don't tell what it is, and you just call it like Chiang Mai or whatever, named after the Women's Correctional Facility. And then it's just like, hey, you're getting massage weekend. Where is it? It's a surprise.
Yeah.
Just show up in this Walmart parking lot on Saturday morning for the bus to pick you up. And then just like a school bus picks up 5 of your least favorite friends and just takes them to Rikers and just drops them off for their own style of massaging for the weekend. just taking him to Leavenworth for like just a little while, just a weekend in prison. Like you're like Job in Arrested Development, but you're not breaking out, and just see what kind of massaging you get there, just American style. That's what I would do. The old Attica rub down.
Yeah, it's that would be terrifying, Chip. I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. A real swapperoonie on expectations.
Exactly. Okay, and finally.
Yep.
Laughter yoga.
All right, here we go.
This is my least favorite one. It talks about the healing properties of laughter. We know this. When we laugh, and I'm going to get some of this wrong, but the cortisol levels in our brain go down. We get dopamine rushing through our system.
Yeah.
There is a rejuvenating process. It makes us happier. It stimulates our immune system. It gets oxygen into the brain. Laughing is good. We know that. People don't laugh nearly as much as they should. So it's laughter yoga. So basically you do look, and it's these laughter techniques, like these, it's forced laughter where it's like, ha, 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 ha. And we all laugh together. Laughter is contagious. It's just a bunch of enlightened people in a room laughing at nothing.
Yeah.
Okay. And it's just they're laughing and they're giving, by the way, it also gives your body an exercise because it's your core, your diaphragm is working, your muscles are working, your face muscles, and you're ha ha ha, but you're forcing laughter. This is just a retreat for people who have never seen the movie Airplane. That's all that is. Go watch Step Brothers. Like that's all you have to do. Get the movie Step Brothers, watch it, and there's your laughter retreat. That's all you need. It doesn't need to be new agey. Please don't force laughter. That's just the worst thing. Come to see Chip Chantry's Thanksgiving in Paradise. You'll get laughter. I will give you laughter.
Nothing
forced there. You do not have to create your own.
Yeah, there's other options to find laughter. I do think, especially as a comedian, I can understand your frustration with the idea of fake laughs. I think you did miss an excellent opportunity to just burn any comedian you wanted to when you said it's a bunch of people laughing at nothing, like a fill in this person's show right there.
Like a David James show right there. There we go, David James. Calling you out, buddy.
Take that, David James.
Let's talk comedies. You and I are obviously huge comedy fans.
Huge comedy fans.
Comedy movies. I was brought up on comedy movies. Everything from John Hughes to Mel Brooks to later on Wes Anderson and all the other stuff in between. The Farrelly brothers. How did I forget the Farrelly brothers?
Oh my God, yeah, for sure.
Let's talk favorite tropical or beach comedy movies.
Should we put like a top 5 on this? Like, how do we want to break that down? I could talk about this all day, but let's give some context for it, Chip.
Okay. These are the best beach comedy movies in our opinion. The top 5.
The top 5 best beach comedy movies ever made.
Okay. Give me one, Thomas. Give me one.
I think if we're going in a specific order, if we're going in a top to bottom, the first thing that comes to mind, I'm going to take us to the Ben Stiller verse.
Okay.
And I'm kind of going to split it between two because they're not tropical movies per se, but they do have tropical elements in them.
Okay.
And the first one's Along Came Polly. There are some pivotal scenes that happen in, I believe, one of the Virgin Islands or one of the East Coast islands.
Hank Azaria, I believe, is.
Oh, yeah. The Z-Hippo. He plays a scuba instructor. You for scuba today. And also, jacked out of his goddamn mind in that movie.
Jacked.
That dude is so jacked. For a voice daddy, somebody who made all that Simpson voice money, why be that jacked? Because you're frickin' Hank, dude, and you're doing it.
Yes.
So that's a criminally underrated movie. I talk to people about this movie all the time. When Philip Seymour Hoffman comes in that early stage and just slips on that ballroom floor and eats crap. I mean, my wife has wondered if I hurt myself multiple times throughout the last 10 years because I will just howl at that. That makes me laugh so freaking hard, but not a straight up tropical movie.
No.
It's got some great scenes in there. So I'm also going to pair it with maybe a semi-tropical movie.
Okay.
In Something About Mary.
Okay.
We end up
set in Miami. Right?
We end up in Miami. Just the colors, the sunshine, the golf.
I think he stays at the Cordova is the name of his hotel.
Absolutely.
Very Spanish inspired, just like bright colors.
Just cranking it because Chris Elliott told you to. These are all tropical things.
That's so tropical. By the way, and I'm just going to throw it out there.
Yeah.
For my money, laugh per laugh, my favorite comedy of all time. Beach, tropical or otherwise. I'm coming in hot saying favorite, like laughter wise. I love Wes Anderson, The Royal Tenenbaums, Rushmore, all those beautiful movies.
Yep.
Funny in their own way.
In their own way.
But like just pure laughter. It's either that or Airplane. I think Airplane or There's Something About Mary. And I'll throw Step Brothers in there too.
Oh, it's really tough to beat Something About Mary.
Yeah.
It scratches me in all the right places, that's for sure. I do have this dream, and it's something I can't make happen, but I desperately want somebody to make happen.
You can make anything happen, Thomas. I'm here for you. Go ahead.
Okay, well, I think there's some rights issues. I want to mix up the Ben Stiller verse. I want there to be a movie that takes the concept of Meet the Parents and mixes it with Ben and Cameron Diaz now, who has their own remarkable daughter, and that they're meeting her boyfriend.
Okay. Yeah.
I just want to put it together. I want Meet the Parents with Mary and Ben Stiller's character, modern day. I just want that to exist. I think that could be very good.
They're married. They're empty nesters now. It all worked out.
Yeah, it ends with them heading off to have this great life. They do everything. They raise the kid with all the trials and tribulations that come on with that. And now she brings home, she has all these dudes sniffing after her, just like mom did back in the day.
Absolutely.
The pizza delivery guy who's dressing up, pretending to be, this architect.
Matt Dillon is the private eye.
Matt Dillon, who is a private eye, but is pretending to be something else. Just these cast of characters that are sniffing around their daughter, and they're trying to sniff out what's going on. I put those two things together. It's the comedy and tropical vacation mixture that we're creating here, but brought over to a different space. Okay, so that's my number 5, Chip. That's my number 5. Is those two overlapping?
Okay, I'm gonna call this one my number 4.
Let's do it.
Not exactly tropical. Not a great movie. I'm gonna be honest. Okay. Not the best movie in the world, and it's not exactly tropical, but it's very beach related. It's what I think of as my childhood when I think of a beach movie, Weekend at Bernie's.
Oh, come on. That's a classic. That's a classic beach movie.
We're doing Weekend at Bernie's. I think it's out in the Hamptons, maybe. I forget exactly. It's like, New York, East Coast. But it just brings me to, it's the summertime movie. Like, it's just like I feel like there's steel drum music, even though there has to be. Even the beginning scene when the two guys, I think it's Jonathan Silverman and Andrew McCarthy, right?
Uh-huh.
They are sunbathing, and then you realize that they're just on a hot, tarry roof in the middle of Manhattan.
Uh-huh.
And it's just, they're like looking through their paper, and they just have tar everywhere, and they're stuck to everything. It just gives you that feeling of like, I can be tropical wherever I am. And
that's true.
You and I,
they're popping on a little of this.
Thomas, you and I are one corpse away from being the Weekend at Bernie's boys.
That's true.
No matter where we are, it is tropical. And then they go to this amazing, vacation spot, Bernie's mansion on the beach. It's a party, that roving party that goes from house to house every weekend. It's what I think of when I think of like, I want to go to the ocean. Boom. It's either that or Jaws. Jaws is a little different.
Uh-huh.
I'm going Weekend at Bernie's, baby.
Well, Weekend at Bernie's, I love it. And I also think that like right off the top, Weekend at Bernie's retreat, where you and a buddy carry around a dead body. I'll take over the Rebirth retreat any any day of the week, any week of the year, any year of my life.
It's the Reed Death Retreat. That's what it is.
The Reed-Death Retreat.
Circle of life. Carry around your boss. Carry around your dead boss all weekend and have some fun. You will be spiritually enlightened and you will work your core.
That's the time to be concerned, like when your husband or wife comes home and just like, I got the rights. And you're like, the rights to what? And like, the rights to do a live event using Weekend at Bernie's branding.
Yes. And that's when the divorce proceedings start. But I mean, do you like? I would donate my body to Weekend at Bernie's camp. Like, you can donate your body to science, whatever.
Yes.
I want to get Weekend at Bernie's.
I think donating your body to Weekends at Bernie's studies or Weekend at Bernie's
fantasy camp.
I think that's a very altruistic thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
I really do.
And by the way, I think that's what, if for parents out there who have little children, 4-year-olds, 5-year-olds, that ask you that tough question, what happens to you when you die? You show them a brochure for Weekend at Bernie's camp.
You're like, I don't know what'll happen to you, but I can tell you what's going to happen to Dad.
Here are my last wishes.
Yeah. He's going to be wheeled around by a couple of young hunks trying to get ahead in the world.
Give me another one, Thomas.
The number 3 favorite tropical comedy movie. I'm going to go with The Wrong Missy. Have you seen The Wrong Missy, Chip?
I've seen, you told me about it, and I watched the first half of it. I got distracted. I got to watch the second half, but so funny. Loved it.
Yeah.
And I have to watch the rest of it. And, of course, very tropical.
David Spade, Lauren Lapkus. David Spade's going, I believe it's like a company trip. He invites who he thinks is one woman to come on this trip with him. He sends the invite to the wrong Missy, and Lauren Lapkus playing an insane version of a human being, which she is so good at doing absolutely everything. She is one of the funniest out there. But good God, does she really nail this weird, sleazy comedic role? And it's all going down in Hawaii. It's absolutely beautiful. It is.
Yeah.
I remember I watched it during the pandemic, and it really started a nice train of me and my wife focusing on like lighter Hawaiian comedy movies. And it just happened to have come out then. And so we got on that train, but good gravy. Did it give me a nice little buzz when I watched it?
It was a gravy train.
It was a gravy train.
Yeah.
Everybody get on board.
Yeah.
The gravy train.
We're
Choo
ready
choo.
to go. Yeah.
All right, Chip, you got a number 2? What are we coming up with
number 2? This one, again, not exactly tropical, although it is Florida, so we'll say this.
Okay.
I'm going back for a classic. You might not have even seen this one. Summer Rental. Do you know Summer Rental?
I never have heard of Summer Rental, Chip.
All right. So it goes back. It's a little dated. I'm going to call it 1984. That's my guess. Okay. Early 80s.
Checks out.
The man, the myth, the legend, Mr. John Candy.
Oh, JC.
Takes his family down to Florida. He's an air traffic controller, kind of timely in the news. He is a burnout air traffic controller, stressed out. The opening scene is great. The opening scene starts out with him trying to contact an unidentified aircraft that is on his radar screen that is coming into basically just going to hit some other planes. And it was like, you need to contact me. You need to contact me. You know, it's like, copy. Do you copy this? You know, it's like, and he starts screaming and he flips out and he's like, we have a major emergency. These planes are going to crash. And then his boss walks over and he goes, yeah, that's a fly on your screen. And, and it was like, he's basically like, you're going nuts. You need a vacation. He hasn't taken a vacation in years. So he takes the family down to Florida and just hilarity ensues. It's just, so without giving it much away, he goes to this beautiful place that turns out not to be his. And then they get to the real place and it's just kind of this dump, but it's on the beach. And just, again, all of these people are in and out. He ends up like, not breaking his leg, but his leg is in an inflatable cast for a little while. He gets, by the way, speaking of Sunburnt Podcast, he gets crazy sunburn on his first day in the beach. There's a whole scene with that. By the way, one of my lessons about applying sunblock every time I go outside was a lot of it came from John Candy. And then it gets to a place that's not exactly beachy, but it is very, it is of the ocean. He basically, whatever, he goes in and he gets in with this, he makes an enemy of like the top, this rich guy who is a yachtsman, and there's this big yacht regatta at the end of the summer that's like the big culminating event, and he gets into it with this guy who's just a big jerk, this rich guy. He always wins the yachting regatta, and he decides that he is going to turn a floating restaurant, which is like an old pirate ship kind of situation that's like just this crappy little restaurant. He's going to turn that into a floating yacht and win the contest. And the owner of the restaurant is this pirate character, this old crappy pirate character, played none other than Mr. Rip Torn.
Oh, my God.
Rip Torn is a pirate, and I think his name is Scully. And they are the upstarts that are going to then work and make this broken down old barge of a pirate ship into a yacht and try to beat the rich guy in the yachting contest at the end of the summer. Summer Rental, one of my all-time favorites.
Chip, this is zany. This is Rip Torn, John Candy going nuts on the beach. I love it.
It's so good that John Larroquette is in the movie, and he's pretty much a straight character and is only in it for like 2 quick scenes and is just a nice guy. That's how stacked this lineup is.
If you get John Larroquette playing third banana, that's a goddamn hit, Chip. Mm-hmm. That's a goddamn hit.
Classic John Candy. Yeah.
All right, baby. Well, that takes us to the number one with the bullet, the number one beach tropical comedy movie for both me and Chip, Forgetting Sarah Marshall. It's a freaking classic. It's such a bullseye for this topic. Like, you really can't figure out something that is more tropical and funnier at the same time, and iconic for being such.
As somebody who's still never been to Hawaii, it put me in that zone of like, oh, okay, this is what it feels like. Even when he's checking into the hotel and he meets what's her name for the first time, she's behind the desk,
Mila Kunis,
and he has that awkward scene with Kristen Bell. It still feels good, even though it's so awkward. You're like, at least you're awkward in Hawaii.
Unbelievable. And that is shot, I do know, at the Turtle Bay Resort on the north shore of Oahu, the same island where Chip Chantry's Thanksgiving Paradise will be happening. And yeah, you can just feel it. It feels unbelievable just to watch it there. It's the colors. You can feel the breeze. You can feel the heat. You see the Hawaiian clothing. And then it's just a super fun ride the whole way through.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that
number
is
one.
Forgetting Sarah Marshall, the number one beach tropical comedy movie, in our opinion.
If you have any others, let us know. What is your favorite beach tropical movie? Let us know at Sunburnt Pod.
Yeah, or drop a comment down below. So that's it, Chip. That's it. Yeah. I think that's it for today. It's been so good chatting with you, man. I love that we're both wearing Hawaiians today. I've just been in a Hawaiian shirt state of mind. Me and my wife actually went to the Pasadena flea market. We brought our baby there. Babies do not like flea markets.
No.
Just in search of a couple of new Hawaiians, a couple of new old Hawaiians. And boy, did I find a couple that tickled me pink. So once those get washed, those will end up on the pod. Also, just like in notable Hawaiian shirt news, the White Lotus just wrapped up another great season in Thailand. And Walton Goggins is wearing some frickin' heaters.
Really?
Some heater shirts the whole time. There's a bunch of them throughout the series, but specifically Walton Goggins wearing some real nice, tropical jungle print tees. And who knows? Maybe we'll do a deeper dive on that sooner than later. I love it. It's an area of interest to me. But boy, is that a good-looking show. And boy, were there some hot Hawaiians on there this year.
And when you say hot Hawaiians, you're not talking about some pretty ladies from Hawaii. That's a little like... No. I'm talking about the shirts, baby.
I'm talking about the shirts.
Hot heater Hawaiians.
I am... For once in my life, I am treating objects like objects.
Yes, you are.
Not like Jackie Treehorn.
No.
Who treats objects like women.
Objects like women.
All right, Chip. Well, this has been amazing. I loved smelling the tropical scents. I loved talking some tropical movies. And I love just hanging out, man. I hope every one of you enjoyed it as well. And until next time, we'll see you. Front desk.
Me llamo es Pablo el baño.
You can just speak English, sir.
El baño es...
Mr. Chantry, you can speak English.
Just set up the punch. Oh, plunger didn't come out. My God. I'm sorry, Tommy. Let's do that one more time.